so we have that super classic of yesterday Harvard students surrounding a Jewish student, which is it's wonderful. Then we have
this Islamophobia, Glenn. It's just constant. This people are
crazy.
Scared of Muslims, and therefore Muslims are attacking Jews.
Right? Exactly. Something like that.
Right.
And here's Hamas. I want you to hear this. This is a Hamas terrorist describing killing children. Here it is.
Oh.
Afterwards, we entered the house that was near us. We entered through the window. We checked the house and heard the sounds of young children in the safe room. We shot at the safe room.
Oh.
Why'd you shoot at the safe room with? At the beginning, we didn't shoot. We passed by. We didn't hear anything. We ate dates and drank water. After we heard sounds of young children. What sounds did you hear? Young children crying. Yeah. Can you demonstrate what noise is so I can understand? The cries of young children, a young child. Like what? A child crying. Okay. I shot and Abu Amal Kamil shot. Until when? Until we didn't hear any noise. Yeah, we didn't hear any noise at that point. And then the army arrived. You stopped hearing the noise. What does that mean? That they died. Is children logical in the Muslim religion? No. What did the Prophet Muhammad say regarding this? Children are not involved. So I ask you a question. If you entered in order to kill under the order of Nakba from Hamas, what's the difference between you and ISIS? The things the interrogator showed me, there is no difference. The things I was shown. I saw videos worse than ISIS, the one as the interrogator showed me. Your father and mother would be proud of those actions? They don't know I'm part of Hamas. My father sees me, he will shoot me, he will kill me. Okay, well, that had a happy ending that at least, he was saying that he didn't have, he had a real problem with shooting the children in the safe room, but I don't know why he had a problem with it when he's with the interrogator, and he didn't have a problem with it when they were eating dates. One more cut here. Here's Kirby at his White House briefing, John Kirby, talking about violent anti-Semitic threats. Listen to this.
The people in this country making violent anti-Semitic threats, are they domestic terrorists?
I don't know that we're classifying people as domestic terrorists for that.
Wait a minute.
That's really a question better left to law enforcement. I'm
Really?
not aware that there's been such a characterization of that.
Okay, that's weird because people who went to the school boards and stood up for their children and said, "What are you doing?" They were domestic terrorists. But people who are making violent anti-Semitic comments and threats are not? That's weird. On the same day, the White House announced its first national strategy to counter Islamophobia. President Biden ran for office to restore the soul of our nation. He's unequivocal. There's no place for hate in America against anyone. For too long, Muslims in America and those perceived to be Muslims, such as Arabs and Sikhs, have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks and other discriminatory incidents. Really? Now, we all know about the murder of the 6-year-old Muslim kid, allegedly at the hands of a landlord who targeted the family over the terrorist attack on Israel by Hamas. That guy should go to jail. That's clear. We all agree that that 6-year-old should not have been killed, that is a horror show, right? Can we not make George Floyd out of this? We all agree that guy should go to jail.
And it's weird. And look, sometimes there are coincidences that pop up from just from time to time, and they've got nothing to do. One thing doesn't have anything to do with the other thing, and that's important to note because this is a heartfelt policy on Islamophobia coming from the federal government, and not only. By the way, it's always Muslims and those who appear Muslim. Would you make sure it's not just Muslims that are people are afraid of? It's also those who appear Muslim. But this is just a totally unrelated story. Biden's support among Arab Americans was 59% when he was elected, and now it's 17%.
Oh, what? Well, that's a weird coincidence.
So it's just total coincidence that he just announced this big Islamophobia policy.
So I have to tell you that I don't think it's just because of getting numbers to be reelected.
No, I think it's totally unrelated. What are you talking about?
No, I know that. No, I know. However, I think this is revealing. This is who the White House really is. This is who this administration is. This is showing you where we're headed. Where we're going is he was saying, Israel, we love you. Hey, you should do a ceasefire. A ceasefire? No, you shouldn't. Would we have given the Japanese a ceasefire on December 23rd, 1941? No, we wouldn't have. Especially when you hear things like you hear from Hamas. Here's a Hamas spokesperson, Ghazi Hamad. I'm going to play just a little bit of it, but I'll just read it to you. Here he is, cut 2, please. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we'll do this again and again. The Al-Aqsa flood is just the first. So what he's saying here, listen to this. Israel is a country that has no place on our land. We must remove this country because it constitutes a security, military, and political catastrophe to the Arab and Islamic nation, and it must be finished. We're not ashamed to say this full force. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we'll do it again and again. Will we have to pay a price? Yes, and we're ready to pay it. We're called a nation of martyrs, and we are proud to sacrifice our martyrs. The occupation must end, not only in the Gaza Strip, but in all Palestinian lands. That means, he admitted, the Hamas goal is, quote, the annihilation of Israel. The existence of Israel is illogical. The existence of Israel is what causes all of that pain, blood, and tears. It is Israel, not us. We are victims of the occupation. Therefore, no one should blame us for the things we do on October 7, October 10th, October 1 million. Everything we do is justified to get to the annihilation of Israel. Now, why would you have a ceasefire? How are you not very clear on what we are dealing with?
It's a one-sided ceasefire. That's not a ceasefire.
No, not a ceasefire. So here's the thing. This is showing us where we're headed. The administration has already, as I showed you on TV last night, back in 2006, they were hemming and hawing, but they were talking about bringing Hamas into the LGBTQ community and bringing them part of this coalition because their goals are the same. The destruction of the Western world. So they're going to pick Hamas. I showed you this video last night, and they were like, yeah, I know. Well, we can disagree with their tactics because the question was, how could you get in bed with a terrorist organization? Well, we don't agree with their tactics, but we do agree. Yes, I'm sorry, Democrats. What? So this is exactly what this is not what the average Democrat wants, but this is what the Democratic Party is all about now. Chaos and the destruction of the West. We're going to tell you a story in a little while about, they're renaming all of the birds, the American birds. They're renaming American birds. Why would you do that? Because anyone, not just good people or bad people, anyone who has an American that has a bird named after them, that's being replaced. I told you, well, I don't know if I told you probably in 2012. In 2008, I started collecting American documents. And the reason why is because I had a prompting, clay pots. I didn't know what clay pots meant. And one day I was on the air and I said, these people hate America and will erase everything about us if we don't win against these people. And in my promptings, I had heard clay pots for months, and I didn't know what it meant. And the moment I said that, I thought, sacred American scripture. Our American scripture is our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence, all of the writings of our founders. Clay pots is what kept the Dead Sea Scrolls safe. People were coming for the Dead Sea Scrolls, and people knew in advance they were coming to destroy them. So they rolled them up and they put them in clay pots where they sat for over 1,000 years in the back of a cave. That's why we have the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I am convinced, after I read the bird thing today, I thought these people are going to erase absolutely everything about America. Everything. I think it's about time to put the documents in a cave someplace away, and maybe they'll be found in 1,000 years so people can truly know our American history. But these people, make no mistake, evil has swept the land. I'm going to show you some things that are out today that will show you. Please get my newsletter, because today you can piece things together just by reading. You can see how everything is falling into place. Do you know what I am a supporter of Israel defending itself. I am not a supporter of us sending troops into Israel or into Gaza. I have no desire to keep these forever wars going on, but I do believe we should support them and say, hey, you have a right to defend yourself the way you see it, as long as you're playing by the rules of the Geneva Convention. You got to do what you've got to do. Got it.